At some point, you figured it out. Not consciously, not as a decision you made sitting down one day, but gradually, through trial and error, through watching what worked and what didn't. You figured out which version of you people found easiest to love. And you became that version. This is about what that cost you, and why the price was higher than you knew. Being easy to love sounds like a gift, like something to aspire to, like the kind of person everyone wants to be around, agreeable, warm, uncomplicated, and in many ways, you were all of those things. But there is a difference between being naturally easy to love and becoming easy to love by making yourself progressively smaller. One is a quality, the other is a strategy. And most people who become very easy to love don't start out with a strategy. They start out with a wound that taught them the full version of me is too much. The edited version is what people stay for. It started with feedback, not always explicit feedback. Sometimes it was a look, a change in someone's energy. When you said something too honest, wanted something too clearly, felt something too openly, and you noticed the way children notice before they have words for what they're noticing, the way anyone notices when the room shifts because of something they did. So you made adjustments, small ones at first. You softened an opinion here. You swallowed a feeling there. You learned which parts of you created friction and quietly began removing them from the equation. Not because you were told to, but because you were paying attention. And what you learned was this: the version of me that asks for less gets more warmth. The version that doesn't push back keeps the peace. The version that's always fine doesn't make things complicated. And so that version, the fine version, the easy version, the version that never asked for too much, became the one you led with every time, in every room, with every person who mattered. Here is what being easy to love actually required. It required you to stop having opinions that made people uncomfortable. It required you to minimize your needs before anyone asked you to. It required you to arrive in relationships already pre-adjusted, already smaller, already quieter, already prepared to take up exactly as much space as seemed acceptable. And it worked. People stayed. Conflict decreased. Things felt smoother. But here is what was actually happening. Every time you edited yourself, every time you swallowed something real to produce something easier, you were leaving a part of yourself somewhere outside the relationship. Not forever. You told yourself it was temporary. You told yourself you would bring those parts back later, when things were more settled, when people knew you better, when it felt safer. But later kept becoming later. And the parts you left outside started to feel like strangers, like aspects of yourself you had introduced to no one, like rooms in your own house that had been locked so long you had almost forgotten they existed. The cost of being easy to love is not obvious. It doesn't show up as a single loss. It doesn't arrive as one bad day or one clear realization. It accumulates. It shows up in the way you feel slightly lonely, even in the middle of connection, because the person being connected to is not entirely you. It shows up in the way certain compliments land wrong. When someone tells you how easy you are, how uncomplicated, how low maintenance, and something in you wants to say, that is not the whole story. That is not all I am. It shows up in the exhaustion of maintaining a version of yourself that doesn't require the full range of who you are. And perhaps most quietly, it shows up in the questions you start asking yourself in the moments when no one else is around. Does anyone actually know me? Or do they only know the version I made for them? Underneath all the editing, underneath the softening and the adjusting and the careful management of how you came across, there was a fear. Not a fear that people would dislike you, something deeper than that. A fear that if they saw the full version, the version with the strong opinions, the inconvenient needs, the feelings that didn't always make things easier, they would decide that version was too much. And you had learned, somewhere along the way, that being too much was the thing that made people leave. So you made yourself less, not because you believed you deserved less, but because you were afraid that the full version of you would cost you the connection you needed. And that fear was not irrational. It came from somewhere real, from moments where being fully yourself had resulted in exactly what you were afraid of. So the editing wasn't weakness. It was protection, the most logical response to what you had experienced. Here is what was always true, even when you couldn't feel it. The parts of you that you edited out were never the problem. They were not too much. They were not the reason things went wrong. They were just the parts that required more from people, more attention, more patience, more genuine interest in who you actually were. And some people were not willing to give that, or did not know how, or were too comfortable with the easier version to look for anything more. But that is information about them, not about the parts of you that you left outside. Those parts were never flaws to be corrected. They were the most real things about you, and they have been waiting, quietly, patiently, for someone to ask about them, for you to stop leaving them at the door. If you have spent years making yourself easy to love, I want you to consider something. The love you were trying to keep by becoming smaller, was it ever really for you? Or was it for the version of you that never asked for too much, never pushed back, never needed anything that was inconvenient to give? Because there is a difference between being loved and being loved for your willingness to disappear. The parts of you that you edited out, the opinions, the needs, the feelings that didn't fit, the easy version, those parts are not gone. They are still here, still yours, still waiting. For the moment you decide they are worth bringing back. Not for anyone else, for you.